Hey guys, how's everyone doing? This is Sir Jedi Sentinel, and welcome back to Batman Be Vlogged, the weekly vlog series where I review an episode of Batman Beyond after watching it for the very first time. Today, we are looking at episode 44, Out of the Past, written by Paul Dini. Ooh, we haven't seen an episode from him in a long time, and directed by James Tucker. As always, because I do these unscripted, there is a blanket spoiler warning in place. So if you do not wish to be spoiled, then this is your one chance to pause the video, jump ship, go watch the episode in question, come back, and join us again for the review. And Out of the Past, once again, continues a really strong string of episodes for season 3. And I think at the moment, only our third instance of a legacy character, a legacy villain. And I think there's only going to be one more, and that's going to be Return of the Joker. If you're unfamiliar with the concept of a legacy character or a legacy villain, um, let me try to break it down and explain for you. So this idea is that a character when you're kind of not so much remaking, but kind of rebooting an old franchise. You're essentially starting a new story with new characters, but it's taking place in the same continuity as the original franchise. A legacy character is essentially a legacy character is a character meant to represent that the original leg of that franchise. It's sort of a means of passing on the torch to the next generation. You know, like you kind of see this more in broad terms in franchises. You kind of see this term more often used, like David Gordon Green's Halloween trilogy are legacy sequels. Immediately following up John Carpenter's original. The sequel trilogy, it uses the legacy characters, Luke, Han, and Leia. Examples like that. Batman Beyond has had a little bit of this. It's a little bit of a looser application of the term because, Batman Beyond was made sort of immediately after Batman the Animated Series. So there isn't that time gap in production that, legacy properties usually have. Batman Beyond, as I just said, was made immediately after Batman the Animated Series as a sequel series. But the concept is still kind of there. In the past, we've only really had sort of two legacy characters, legacy villains, I should emphasize, because we've had a couple legacy characters throughout the series, mainly Bruce Wayne and Barbara Gordon. But so, yeah, I want to emphasize legacy villains. We've only, from memory, only really had two legacy villains in the past. In The Winning Edge, we had a cameo from Bane. Bane's whole shtick was kind of the catalyst for the events of The Winning Edge, but he himself was not the villain. He only really had a cameo in that episode. And of course, Meltdown with Mr. Freeze. So after nothing from season 2, and here in season 3, we finally get our big legacy villain, villains, I should say, which are of course Ra's and Talia al Ghul. But I'll get to that in a moment because this episode does some interesting and quite frankly disturbing, in a good way, things with that idea. So here's the plot of the episode. It's Bruce's birthday. Terry is deciding to take Bruce out to a Batman musical, which kind of just, timing again, this obviously happened first, evokes feelings of Rogers the musical from, oh god, what was it? It was either Falcon and the Winter Soldier or Hawkeye. I think it was Hawkeye. And, it is the most, for lack of a better descriptor, it is the most Adam West representation of Batman the Animated Series I've ever seen. And it was hilarious. But despite Terry having a good time and wanting to take out Bruce so he can have a good time, Bruce just feels older. It's Bruce's birthday and he just feels older. Like the things he once did as Batman, what he used to fight for, he feels he can no longer do that. So he sort of slinks away and goes to the Batcave and looks over old photos reminiscing on his life and especially his love. Like we see him looking at photos of Zatanna, Lois Lane, weirdly enough. I know that was kind of a thing in, what was it, World's Finest, I think the movie was called. And Barbara Gordon, Bruce Timm, stop it. But during his musings, he is interrupted by Talia al Ghul. And, oops, sorry, I forgot to do that again. I swear this is kind of a running gag. I don't plug in my laptop when I do this. The battery's always about to go. Anyway, Bruce receives a visit from Talia al Ghul, who kind of offers him this chance to enter the Lazarus pit, to be rejuvenated and restored to a younger age, and spend his life with Talia. And of course Terry has his concerns about that because he knows Bruce's history with Ra's al Ghul and Talia al Ghul, and he even has some deeper concerns that if Bruce is rejuvenated, will he become Batman again and kind of push Terry out? In a scene he confides with Max, a really brief scene because that's not the focus of this episode. The focus of this episode is Bruce. We get a really strong Bruce focused episode, that is also a good commentary on the nature of aging and how as we get older, we start feeling useless because we can't do the things we used to do. For example, the scene that ultimately kind of makes Bruce initially accept Talia's offer is to, he's driving on the freeway and he suffers a blowout. And while having trouble replacing his, installing his spare tire, a woman is thrown out onto traffic and he cannot rescue her. Terry's able to rescue them both in time, but Bruce laments that if he was even just a few years younger, he still could have helped her, something he can't do. But of course, in true League of Shadows fashion, it is a trap. And here comes the disturbing part. Like, I thought it would be too, because I saw clips of this on YouTube, I should say. I thought it would be too goofy, from what I saw, but it turns out that Batman's last squabble with Ra's al Ghul left him utterly broken, to the point that even the Lazarus pit, it could rejuvenate him and restore his youth. It could not heal his body. So he had Talia make the ultimate sacrifice, and essentially, they give it some sciencey, some techno-babbly explanation that he put his memories in her, but Ra's al Ghul is possessing Talia. And I do have to admit, for as ominous and disturbing as this idea is, it is a little bit funny to hear David Warner's voice coming out of Talia al Ghul. But it only adds to this sort of sense of loss Bruce is feeling, because one of his greatest loves is, no longer there. Basically, Ra's killed her as a way to keep living forever. And in a way, this confrontation, I am about to sneeze, excuse me. Should not be doing that right by my microphone. Excuse me. One of his greatest loves, Ra's al Ghul, essentially killed for the sake of self-preservation. And this is a really good episode for Bruce, because seeing the lengths Ra's al Ghul will go to prolong his own life makes Bruce accept his own aging and mortality. Terry is there as kind of the action hero. He and Bruce get to work together because the Lazarus Pit does partially regenerate Bruce Wayne to a slightly younger age. So we do get to see some action from Bruce, but yeah, this episode is majorly Bruce focused. Out of the Past is just all around a strong episode. It's got a good commentary on aging and mortality. It is one of the best. It is the first Bruce-centric episode we've had in a while, and it is one of the best. Kevin Conroy gives a great performance. Olivia Hussey is really good. David Warner absolutely steals the show, though. He just had one of those voices that you love to hear monologuing. There is a slight dip in animation quality. I've been talking about this. It seems like Season 3 underwent a minor change from the back half of Season 2, when Season 2 became digitally animated. And then, I said season 3, the animation felt oversimplified. Here you can see kind of a slight dip in the animation quality compared to previous episodes, but not by much. But those are just my thoughts. Have you watched Out of the Past yet? I blanked on the name for a second. What are yours? Please start a conversation in the comments below. And remember to like, comment, subscribe, click the bell next to subscribe to get notifications when I upload, and in the description box below, you'll find the link to my socials where you can follow me and get updates on the channel. This is Sir Jedi Sentinel, and I'll see you guys next time.